everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Here's my top 10 favorite war movies. Yes, I haven't talked a lot about war movies. Yes, I've done a lot of top 10 lists of a bunch of different genres of film, like comedies, action, horror movies, science fiction, all that stuff, but I've never talked about war movies, my favorite war movies. Yes, I've done tags about war movies, and I've done reviews for war movies, but I've never did a straight up top 10 list of my favorite war movies, and now here you go. Here's my top 10 favorite war movies. And when it came to this top 10 list, because there's a lot of movies that were going to be in this top 10 list, but some I don't consider straight war movies. Yes, some are dramatic films that took place during the war, you know, like The King's Speech and Schindler's List. I'm not going to include those. I'm including just straight up war movies. Movies that are centered in the war, whether it's battles or like it is literally centered on the war part. Heavy on the war. So yeah, these are straight war movies. So yeah, some I cut out because I consider them more dramatic films. Some of these are dramas too, but they're just more war-ish. Yeah. I know some people are confused, but who cares? Let's get to it. Here's my top 10 personal favorite war movies. Alright, and before our top 10 list, you gotta have your honorable mentions. And my honorable mentions are American Sniper, Lone Survivor, Das Boot, All Quiet on the Western Front, Black Hawk Down, The Hurt Locker, The Thin Red Line, The Dirty Dozen, and this year's Hacksaw Ridge. All great films, great war movies, just couldn't make the top 10 list, but what did make my top 10 was my number 10. My number 10 is The Deer Hunter. The Deer Hunter is an amazing, amazing film, starring Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, Meryl Streep. So freaking good. This is during the Vietnam War, yeah. This is an amazing 1970s war movie. It is a heavy on the drama in the first act, but the second and third act is straight war. It is some graphic shit in this movie, like, because it's about these American soldiers, and basically they get captured and stuff, and they get captured and they have to play, like, Russian roulette and stuff with the guns and shoot themselves and stuff, and Christopher Walken gets all twisted and stuff, and yeah, this really just shows you the tragedies of war, what men go through, even though you want to fight for your country. War is a very graphic, gruesome thing, and it's just downright terrifying. This movie shows the sheer horrors of war. It's scary, it's terrifying, but it's amazingly executed in this film. It's well directed, well structured, well written. De Niro's amazing, Meryl Streep's amazing, Christopher Walken totally deserved his supporting actor win at the Oscars. I love this movie. The Deer Hunter is an amazing film. Coming number 9 is Full Metal Jacket. Yes, Full Metal Jacket is fantastic. Yes, the first act is straight up hilarious because, you know, got Vincent D'Onofrio and you got the fucking drill sergeant just yelling at everyone. I'm gonna take your skull, fuck you, yeah, I'm gonna call you Snowball. This movie is so freaking good. This is Stanley Kubrick, and everyone knows that I'm a huge Stanley Kubrick fan. This is definitely not my favorite Kubrick movie. It's no Eyes Wide Shut, or 2001: A Space Odyssey, or even The Shining, but this movie is still a fantastic film. A very good war movie, because again, in the second and third act, it gets heavy on the war elements, and the main character Joker and stuff. I love this movie. It's a great character study, it's got amazing performances, and a fucking awesome first act. I love the first act, but this movie is gritty, it's edgy, it's darkly comedic, and it's an amazing war movie. So good. Coming number 8 is Patton. Patton is so good. This movie relies heavy on George C. Scott as the character Patton. This movie is fantastic. It's a great movie, also without George C. Scott, because it's a well-shot movie. The cinematography is fantastic. The editing is so freaking good. The costumes, the production looks great. All the war scenes, the battle scenes are very well done, but this movie is amazing because of George C. Scott. George C. Scott's performance is absolutely perfect. I'm a big fan of George C. Scott. I love him in so many movies, you know, like A Christmas Carol, Doctor Strangelove. He does a lot of great work. His acting is just, he's got so much range in him and stuff. He can do any kind of movie and stuff. He's so good. He can play likable characters, unlikable characters, and he's kind of both with his character Patton, who does have his likable moments, his very inspirational moments, but then he has his very distasteful moments, unlikable moments, because he wants to stop the war, but he also wants the war to keep going on, because the war makes him feel more alive and stuff, and how he takes charge. This movie is a fantastic character study about this character Patton, and it's a fantastic movie. It's a 3-hour film, but it feels like a 90-minute movie, because it just flies by, because you're just so engaged and enthralled with this film. It's amazing. It's a great film. All on its own, but the what elevates it to be one of the greatest war movies ever is because of George C. Scott. He is so good in this movie. Coming number 7 is Braveheart. Yes, they may take our land, but they'll never take our freedom! Freedom! Yes, Mel Gibson is so good in this movie. Yes, as William Wallace, he also directed and produced this movie. It's such a great film. This is a different type of war movie. This is not like a war movie like during the World Wars or Vietnams with guns and stuff. No, this is back in the old days of Scotland when they had the swords and the bows and arrows and stuff. This movie's gritty, edgy, and it's amazing. Everyone's heard me talk about Braveheart a lot, so I'm just gonna come out and say it. This movie's fantastic. It totally deserved to win Best Picture at the Oscars. It's one of Mel Gibson's best movies. It's not the best. Like Lethal Weapon's probably my favorite, but Braveheart's amazing. It's one of my favorite war movies of all time. It's so good. Freedom! Coming number 6 is Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan is directed by my favorite director of all time, Steven Spielberg. Definitely in my top 10 favorite Spielberg movies. This movie's so freaking good. Everyone, this is like most people's favorite war movie of all time. Saving Private Ryan, it's fantastic. I can't bash this movie as much as I want to bash it, because sometimes usually movies that are universally loved, you can bash them, but this movie you can't because it's so well directed. The direction in this movie is so fucking good. The war scenes are some of the best war scenes you will ever see. And it's right there with Hacksaw Ridge as some of the most realistic, gritty images in a war movie ever. It's so good. I love the cast in this movie. Tom Hanks is amazing. He probably should have won the Academy Award. He was nominated. He was so good. Matt Damon is good in his brief role. Even Vin Diesel, he's barely in the movie. Adam Goldberg, Edward Burns, they're all fantastic in this movie. I love this, like, platoon of men. I love these characters. The war scenes are amazing. The opening beach scene is, like, so fucked up. It's, like, 20 minutes of just graphic war violence, and it's not meant to be just gratuitous. It's showing the real tragedies of war, and this movie showcases it brilliantly, and it's an amazing movie. It's one of my favorite war movies. It's Saving Private Ryan. It's just so good. Coming number 5 is Apocalypse Now. Yes, this is another one. Like, this is most people's favorite war movie of all time. It's not my favorite, but it's damn near close. It's one of my favorite Francis Ford Coppola movies. It's not better than The Godfather, but it's still a great film with amazing performances. Martin Sheen is so good. I love Marlon Brando's performance too. Robert Duvall. Yes, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Oh, the music, the soundtrack to this movie is so good. The visuals, the cinematography. It's a very bleak, unpleasant movie, but it just works. It's one of the best war movies ever. Coming number 4 is Glory. Yes, Glory, another movie I've talked on and on about. This is directed by Edward Zwick. Best Edward Zwick movie, one of the best Denzel Washington performances. Yes, it's saying a lot because he did Malcolm X and Training Day, Hurricane, all great performances. He got game. Like, this movie is just brilliant. It's so good. It's Battle of Gettysburg and about all these white troops, these black troops fighting for America and fighting for freedom. It's so fucking good. I love it. Matthew Broderick, Morgan Freeman, Carrie Ellis, Denzel Washington, all fantastic. This movie is amazing and very inspirational. It's just so good. Coming number 3 is Joyce Noel. Joyce Noel is probably one of the most underrated war movies of all time, and definitely one of the most underrated Christmas movies, which I'm going to get into in my top 10 underrated Christmas movies. Yes, Christmas is up this December, and I'm going to have a few Christmas videos in this upcoming month, and one of them is my top 10 most underrated Christmas movies, and Joyce Noel will definitely be in there, because I love this movie, Joyce Noel. It's such a fantastic movie. This is during World War I on Christmas Eve, when these two enemies, I think it's the German and the French or Italian, I forget, basically these two enemy platoons are in these trenches battling each other, but on Christmas Eve, they get out of their trenches and they spend Christmas Eve together, and they become friends with each other, but then on Christmas morning, they have to kill each other, and they can't kill each other because they spent this amazing night together and became friends with each other. This movie just shows the spirit of Christmas, and it also shows the real tragedies of war, because there is some really gritty imagery in this movie, and it's a very emotional impact of a film. I love this movie. You got Diane Kruger and Daniel Bruhl both in this movie. They're both fantastic. It's such a great film. I don't want to go into depth about it, but it's an amazing movie. It's in a bunch of different languages. It's in like French, Italian, German, and English. It's an amazing movie. If you love Christmas movies, check it out, but especially if you love war movies, it's so good. Coming number 2 is Platoon. Yes, Platoon. Okay, this was really difficult for my number one and my number two because I was going back and forth with these two, my number one and my number two. I'm like, okay, that's my favorite war movie. No, that one is. No, that one is. No, that one is. No, that one is. I couldn't decide, so basically my number one and my number two are basically a tie. Yes, I couldn't put them, I could have easily put them as a tie, but yeah, well, I just put them as this. As of now, this is number two, number one, but honestly, next year might change. This might be my number one, but yeah, I love Platoon. Platoon is so good. It's Oliver Stone's best movie, and that is saying something because Oliver Stone has a lot of great movies. I love Wall Street. He does a lot of great movies. This is hands down his best. This movie is fantastic. Again, it shows the tragedies of war, but it also shows the humanity of war and these bizarre, strange characters, but also very compelling three-dimensional characters. I love Charlie Sheen in this movie. The small performance by Johnny Depp. Willem Dafoe and Tom Berenger probably steal every scene they're in. There's so many iconic scenes, especially the scene when they're smoking dope out of their rifles and stuff. It's very funny. This movie also has a very good soundtrack, amazing cinematography, and some of the best war scenes you will ever see. Just how this movie is directed and how it's acted. It's just beautiful. I love this movie. This movie is fantastic. It blows me away every time I see it, and it may not be everyone's favorite, but it's definitely one of my favorites. And my number one favorite war movie of all time is Inglorious Bastards. Yes, hear me out. Hear me out. I know a lot of people are probably gonna roll their eyes like, well, why is this your favorite? Apocalypse Now, come on. Full Metal Jacket, Saving Private Ryan. Like, come on, Platoon, those made the lower ends, but this is number one. I love this movie, even though it's fictional. It's not a real story. It's a war movie, but it's fictionalized. There was no such group as the Bastards, and Hitler dies in this movie by the Bastards, by the Bear Jew himself, and yeah, this movie's great. I love it. I love how it shows the war. It also shows the tragedies and the brutality of war, but it also shows the comedic side of it, and just how badass this movie is, and how friggin' entertaining this movie is. This movie is so enjoyable. It's Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is one of my favorite directors of all time. This is probably like my second favorite Tarantino movie. It's no Pulp Fiction, but I love this movie. I love it so much. I love these characters. These characters are some of my favorite characters in movies. Like, come on, Lieutenant Aldo Raines, the Bear Jew, Christoph Waltz's character, Hans Lando, Sashana. I love these characters. Even Daniel Bruhl's character. I enjoy these characters. Michael Fassbender's character is good too. Even Mike Myers and Hugo Stiglitz. There's so many amazing characters in this movie. I love them. They're portrayed by amazing actors. You got Bridget, played by Diane Kruger. You got Christoph Waltz, Brad Pitt. Everyone's amazing in this movie. It's violent, it's gory because it's a Tarantino movie, but it also has that amazing dialogue that all Tarantino movies have, and it also has some really epic war scenes. Like, they're not like huge battle scenes, but they're very gritty scenes. Come on, like that basement diner scene. Oh, what a brutal scene. I love this movie. This movie's fantastic. It has a brilliant third act and a very hilarious ending. And yeah, I love this movie. It's my favorite war movie as of now. It's right there with Platoon, but yeah, I love Inglorious Bastards. It's so good. So yeah, that was my top 10 personal favorite war movies. So yeah, in the comment section below, please tell me what is your top 10 favorite war movies of all time. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.